Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. August 15th, 2026. This week is Parashah 48, which begins with Deuteronomy 16:18, which you'll find on page 216 of your complete Jewish Bible. You are to appoint judges and officers for all your gates in the cities Adonai your God is giving, tribe by tribe, and they are to judge the people with righteous judgment. You are not to distort justice, or show favoritism. You're not to accept a bribe, for a gift blinds the eyes of the wise and twists the words of even the upright. Justice, only justice, you must pursue, so that you will live and inherit the land Adonai your God is giving. Kind of late, aren't you?
Well, you're kind of premature. All right.
You're not to plant any sort of tree as a sacred pole beside the altar of Adonai your God that you will make for yourselves. Likewise, do not set up a standing stone. Adonai your God hates such things. You're not to sacrifice to Adonai your God a cow or sheep that has a defect or anything wrong with it. That would be an abomination to Adonai your God. 17:2.
If there is found among you within any of your gates in any city that Adonai your God gives you, a man or a woman who does what Adonai your God sees as wicked, transgressing his covenant by going and serving other gods and worshipping them, the sun, the moon, or anything in the sky, something I have forbidden, and it is told to you or you hear about it, then you are to investigate the matter diligently. If it is true, if it is confirmed that such detestable things are being done in Israel, then you are to bring the man or woman who has done this wicked thing to your city gates and stone that man or woman to death. The death sentence is to be carried out only if there was testimony from 2 or 3 witnesses. He may not be sentenced to death on the testimony of only one witness. The witnesses are to be the first to stone him to death. Afterward, all the people are to stone him. Thus, you will put an end to this wickedness among you.
If a case comes before you at your city gate, which is too difficult for you to judge, concerning bloodshed, civil suit, personal injury, or any other controversial issue, you get up, go to the place which Adonai your God will choose, and appear before the Kohen, who are Levites, and the judge in office at the time. Seek their opinion, and they will render a verdict for you. You will then act according to what they have told you there in that place which Adonai will choose. You are to take care to act according to all of their instructions. In accordance with the Torah they teach you, you are to carry out the judgment they render, not turning aside to the right or left from the verdict they declare to you. Anyone presumptuous enough not to pay attention to the Kohen appointed there to serve Adonai your God, or to the judge, that person must die. Thus you will exterminate such wickedness from Israel. All the people will hear about it and be afraid to continue acting presumptuously.
When you have entered the land Adonai your God is giving you, have taken possession of it and are living there, you may say, I want to have a king over me like all the other nations around me. In that event, you must appoint a king the one whom Adonai your God will choose, he must be one of your kinsmen. This king you appoint over you. You are forbidden to appoint a foreigner over you who is not your kinsman. However, he is not to acquire many horses for himself or have the people return to Egypt to obtain more horses. Inasmuch as Adonai told you never to go back that way again. Likewise, he is not to acquire many wives for himself, or that his heart will not turn away, and he is not to acquire excessive quantities of silver and gold.
When he's come to occupy the throne of his kingdom, he is to write a copy of this Torah for himself in a scroll, from the one the Cohen and Levite use. It's to remain with him, and he's to read it every day as long as he lives. So he will learn to fear Adonai his God and keep the words of this Torah and these laws and obey them, so that he will not think he's better than his kinsman, and so he will not turn aside either to the right or to the left from the mitzvah. In this way he will prolong his own reign and that of his children in Israel.
The Cohen, who are Levi, and indeed the whole tribe of Levi, is not to have a share or an inheritance with Israel. Instead, their support will come from the food offered by fire to Adonai, from whatever else becomes his. They will have no inheritance with their brothers because Adonai is their inheritance, and he has said to them, as he has said to them.
The Cohen will have the right to receive from the people, from those offering a sacrifice, whether ox or sheep, the shoulder, the jowls, and the stomach. You'll also give him the first fruits of your grain, new wine and olive oil, and the first of the fleece of your sheep. For Adonai your God has chosen him from all your tribes to stand and serve in the name of Adonai, him and his sons forever.
If a Levite from one of your towns anywhere in Israel where he is living comes, highly motivated, to the place which Adonai will choose, then he will serve there in the name of Adonai his God, just like his kinsmen, the Levi, who stand and serve in the presence of Adonai. Such a Levi will receive the same share as they do, in addition to what he may receive from selling his inherited ancestral property.
When you enter the land Adonai your God is giving you, you're not to learn how to follow the abominable practices of those nations. There must not be found among you anyone who makes his son or daughter pass through fire, a diviner, a soothsayer, an enhancer, a sorcerer, a spellcaster, a consulter of ghosts or spirits, or a necromancer. For whoever does these things is detestable to Adonai. And because of those abominations, Adonai your God is driving them out ahead of you. You must be wholehearted with Adonai your God. For these nations which you are about to dispossess, listen to soothsayers and diviners. But you, Adonai your God, does not allow you to do this.
Adonai will raise up for you a prophet like me from among yourselves, from your own kinsmen. You are to pay attention to him, just as when you were assembled at Horeb and requested Adonai your God, don't let me hear the voice of Adonai my God anymore. For let me see his great fire ever again. If I do, I will die. On that occasion, Adonai said to me, they are right in what they're saying. I will raise up for them a prophet like you from among their kinsmen, and I will put my words in their mouth, and he will tell them everything I order him. Whoever doesn't listen to my words, which he will speak in my name, will have to account for himself to me.
But if a prophet presumptuously speaks a word in my name, which I didn't order him to say, or if he speaks in the name of other gods, then that prophet must die. You may be wondering, how are we to know if the word has not been spoken by Adonai. When a prophet speaks in the name of Adonai, and the prediction does not come true, that is, the word is not fulfilled, then Adonai did not speak that word. The prophet who said it spoke presumptuously. You have nothing to fear from him.
When Adonai your God cuts off the nations whose land Adonai your God is giving you, and you take their place and settle in their cities and houses, you are to set aside 3 cities for yourselves in your land that Adonai your God has given you to possess. Divide the territory of your land which Adonai your God is having you inherit into 3 parts, and prepare the roads so that any killer can flee to these cities. The killer who will live if he flees there is someone who has killed his fellow member of the community by mistake, who did not hate him in the past. An example would be if a man goes into the forest with his neighbor to cut wood and takes a stroke with an axe to fell a tree, but the head of the axe flies off the handle, hits the neighbor, and kills him. Then he is to flee to one of these cities and live there. Otherwise, the next of kin avenger, in the heat of his anger, may pursue the killer, overtake him because the distance to the city of refuge is long, and strike him dead, even though he didn't deserve to die, inasmuch as he hadn't hated him in the past. This is why I'm ordering you to set aside for yourselves 3 cities.
If Adonai your God expands your territory, as he swore to your ancestors that he would, and gives you all the land he promised to give your ancestors, provided you keep and observe all these mitzvah I'm giving you today, loving Adonai your God and always following his ways, then you are to add 3 more cities for yourselves, besides these 3, so that innocent blood will not be shed in the land Adonai your God is giving you as an inheritance, and thus blood guilt and wrong. However, if someone hates his fellow member of the community, lies in wait for him, attacks him, strikes him a death blow, and then flees into one of these cities, then the leaders of his own town understand him, bring him back from there, and hand him over to the next of kin avenger to be put to death. You are not to pity him. Rather, you must put an end to the shedding of innocent blood in Israel. Then things will go well with you.
All right, so where are we?
14. You are not to move your neighbor's boundary marker from the place where people put it long ago. In the inheritance soon to be yours in the land Adonai your God is giving you to possess.
1 witness alone will not be sufficient to convict a person of any offense or sin of any kind. The matter will be established only if there are 2 or 3 witnesses testifying against him.
If a malicious witness comes forward and gives false testimony against someone, then both the men involved in the controversy will stand before Adonai, before the Cohen and the judges in office at the time. The judges are to investigate carefully. If they find that the witness is lying or has given false testimony against his brother, you are due to do to him what he intended to do to his brother. In this way, you put an end to such wickedness among you. Those who remain will hear about it, be afraid, and no longer commit such wickedness among you. Show no pity. Life for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot.
When you go out to fight your enemies and see horses, chariots, and a force larger than yours, you are not to be afraid of them, because Adonai your God, who brought you out from the land of Egypt, is with you. When you are about to go into battle, the Cohen is to come forward and address the people. he should tell them, "Listen, Israel, you are about to battle against your enemies. Don't be faint hearted or afraid. Don't be alarmed or frightened by them, because Adonai your God is going with you to fight on your behalf against your enemies and give you victory."
Then the officials will speak to the soldiers. They are to say, "Is there among you here who has built a new house but hasn't dedicated it yet? He should go back home now. Otherwise, he may die fighting, and another man will dedicate it."
Why does this sound like one we just read? Can you answer me that?
Is there a man here who has planted a vineyard but hasn't yet made use of its fruit? He should go back home. Otherwise, he may die fighting, and another man will use it. Is there a man here who is engaged to a woman but hasn't married her yet? He should go back home. Otherwise, he may die fighting, and another man will marry her. The officials will then add to what they have said to the soldiers. Is there a man here who is afraid and faint hearted? He should go back home. Otherwise, his fear may demoralize his comrades as well. When the officials have finished speaking with the soldiers, commanders are to be appointed to lead the army. 2010.
It just bothers me.
2010.
I see it. When you advance on a town to attack it, first offer it terms for peace. If it accepts the terms for peace and opens its gates to you, then all the people there are to be put to forced labor and work for you. However, if they refuse to make peace with you, but prefer to make war against you, you are to put it under siege. When Adonai your God hands it over to you, you are to put every male to the sword. However, you are to take as booty for yourself the women, the little ones, the livestock, and everything in the city, all its spoil. Yes, you will feed on your enemy's spoil, which Adonai your God has given you. This is what you are to do to all the towns which are at a great distance from you, which are not the towns of these nations.
As for the towns of these people, which Adonai your God is giving you as your inheritance, you are not to allow anything that breathes to live. Rather, you must destroy them completely. The Hittite, the Amorite, the Canaanites, the Perizzite, the Hivi, the Jebusite, as Adonai your God has ordered you. So they won't teach you to follow their abominable practices, which they do for their gods, thus causing you to sin against Adonai your God.
When in making war against a town in order to capture it, you lay siege to it for a long time, you are not to destroy its trees, cutting them down with an axe. You can eat their fruit, so don't cut them down. After all, they are trees in the field, human beings, so that you have to besiege them too. However, if you know that certain trees provide no food, you may destroy them and cut them down in order to build siege works against the town making war with you until it falls.
If in the land Adonai is giving you to possess, a murder victim is found laying in the countryside, and the perpetrator of the murder is not known, then your leaders and judges are to go out and measure the distance between the murder victim and the surrounding towns. After it's been determined which town is the closest, the leaders of that town are to take a young female cow that's never been put to work or yoked for use as a draft animal. The leaders of that town are to bring the heifer down to the vati with a stream in it that never dries up, to a place that's neither plowed nor sown, and they are to break the cow's neck there in the vati. Then the Cohen, who are Levi, are to approach, for Adonai your God has chosen them to serve, and pronounce blessings in the name of Adonai. They will decide the outcome of every dispute and matter involving violence. All the leaders of the town nearest the murder victim are to wash their hands over the cow whose neck has been broken in the Vadai. Then they're to speak up and say, "This blood was not shed by our hands, nor have we seen who did it. Adonai, forgive your people Israel, whom you redeemed. Do not allow innocent blood to be shed among your people Israel, and they will be forgiven this bloodshed. Thus you will banish the shedding of innocent blood from among you by doing what Adonai sees is right."
The reason that
And
I'm objecting is because we just read this. Why do we keep reading the same thing? Something's wrong with the parashah.
Well, I looked it up.
You looked it up, but I'm thinking.
You want to turn this off?
No, I'm not going to turn it off. I'm not arguing. It's
Yes,
an
you
issue that needs to be addressed. When you keep reading the same thing month after month, it gets kind of suspicious to me. Isn't there other things that God instructed us to do as well? Not just the same thing? The Avenger, the Killer Avenger again? We just had that. You don't notice it? I guess I better start keeping a journal and put all your notes in there, because I could, unless they're repeating what we talked about in Numbers, and they're repeating it again in Deuteronomy. Is that what's going on? But isn't there other things that we should be addressing as well? I mean, maybe we're in the wrong parashah altogether, the wrong, maybe we have the wrong leaders. I mean, it's a valid concern. So where do we go now? It's
Page
probably,
519.
yeah, it's the same
Isaiah
thing.
51:12 through 52:12.
It's I, yes, I, the one who confronts you. Why are you afraid of a man who must die, of a human being who will wither like grass? You have forgotten Adonai, your Maker, who stretched out the heavens and laid the foundations of the earth. Instead, you are in constant fear all day because of the oppressor's rage, as he prepares to destroy. But where is the oppressor's rage? The captive will soon be set free. He will not die and go to Sheol. On the contrary, his food supply will be secure. For I am Adonai your God, who steers up the sea, who makes its waves roar. Adonai Tazavo is his name. I put my words in your mouth and covered you with the shadow of my hand, in order to plant the skies anew, lay the foundations of the earth anew, and to say to Zion, you are my people.
Awake, awake, stand up, Jerusalem. At Adonai's hand you drank the cup of his fury. You have drained to the dregs the goblet of drunkenness.
Same what we read about a month ago.
There is no one to guide her among all the sons she has borne. Not one of all the children she raises taking her by the hand. These two disasters have overcome you, yet who will grieve with you? Plunder and destruction, famine and sword, by whom can I comfort you? Your children lie helpless at every street corner like an antelope trapped in a trapped in a net. They are full of Adonai's fury, the rebuke of your God. Therefore, please hear this in your affliction, you who are drunk, but not with wine. This is what your Lord Adonai says, your God, who defends his people. Here I have removed from your hand the cup of drunkenness, the goblet of my fury. You will never drink it again. I will put it in the hands of your tormentors, who said to you, bend down so we can trample you, and you flattened your back on the ground like a street for them to walk on.
The same thing we read. Awake, awake, Zion, clothe yourself with your strength, dress in your splendid garments, Jerusalem, the holy city. For the circumcised and the unclean will enter you no more. Shake off the dust, arise, be enthroned, Jerusalem. Loosen the chains on your neck, captured daughter of Zion, captive daughter of Zion. For thus says Adonai, you were sold for nothing, and you will be redeemed without money. For thus says Adonai Elohim, long ago my people went down to Egypt to live there as aliens, and Asher opposed them for no reason. So now, what should I do here, asks Adonai, since my people were carried off for nothing? Their oppressors are howling, says Adonai, and my name is always being insulted daily. Therefore, my people will know my name. Therefore, on that day, they will know that I, the one speaking, here I am.
How beautiful on the mountains are the feet of him who brings good news, proclaiming shalom, bringing good news of good things, announcing salvation and saying to Zion, God, your God is King. Listen, your watchmen are raising their voices, shouting for joy together. For they will see before their own eyes Adonai returning to Zion.
Break into joy, sing together, the ruins of Jerusalem. For Adonai has confronted his people. He has redeemed Jerusalem. Adonai has bared his holy arm in the sight of every nation, and all the ends of the earth will see the salvation of our God.
Leave, leave, get out of there. Don't touch anything unclean. Get out from inside it and be clean, you who carry Adonai's temple equipment. You need not leave in haste. You do not have to flee, for Adonai will go ahead of you, and the God of Israel will also be behind you. And then, if you please turn to page 1245, we will read Matthew 18, 1 through 35.
At that moment, the Talmudim came to Yeshua and asked, "Who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven?" He called a child to him. Now, don't you remember just reading that a month ago?
Possibly.
Well, why are we doing it repeatedly?
We are going by the parashah readings in Hebrew roots.
Well, and apparently they must be on some kind of a repeat thing or some problem with it, because there's plenty of other interesting things we could be reading except the same thing over and over. It's not right. I notice it. I'm sure you're noticing it too. We read about this. He called the child to him, stood him among them, and said, "Yes, I tell you, unless you change and become like little children, you won't even enter the kingdom of heaven." So the greatest in the kingdom is whoever makes himself as humble as this child. Whoever welcomes one such child in my name welcomes me, and whoever ensnares one of these little ones who trust me, it would be better for him to have a millstone hung around his neck and be drowned in the open sea. Woe to the world because of snares. For there must be snares, but woe to the person who sets the snare.
So if your hand or foot becomes a snare for you, cut it off and throw it away. Better that you should be maimed or crippled and obtain eternal life than keep both hands or both feet and be thrown into everlasting fire. And if your eye is a snare for you, gouge it out and fling it away. Better that you should be one-eyed and obtain eternal life than keep both eyes and be thrown into the fire of Gilhinnom. See that you never despise one of these little ones. For I tell you that their angels in heaven are continually seeing the face of my Father in heaven. Did you lose your place?
No, I was looking at Hebrew roots because I think something's wrong. Go ahead and read.
What's your opinion? What will somebody do who has 100 sheep and one of them wanders away? Only leave the 99 on the hillside and go off to find the stray. And if he happens to find it, yes, I tell you he's happier over it than over the 99 who never strayed. Thus your Father in heaven does not want even one of these little ones to be lost. Moreover, if your brother commits a sin against you, go and show him his fault, but privately, just between the two of you. If he listens to you, you have won back your brother. If he doesn't listen, take one or two others with you, so that every accusation can be supported by the testimony of 2 or 3 witnesses. If he refuses to hear them, tell the congregation. And if he refuses to listen even to the congregation, treat him as you would a pagan or a tax collector. Yes, excuse me, I tell you, the people, that whatever you prohibit on earth will be prohibited in heaven. And whatever you permit on earth will be permitted in heaven. To repeat, I tell you, that if 2 of you here on earth agree about anything people ask, it will be for them from my Father in heaven. For wherever 2 or 3 are assembled in my name, I am there with them.
What number?
21. Then Peter,
1921?
18:21.
Okay. Then Peter came up and said to him, Rabbi, how often can my brothers sin against me? This is redundant. This is totally
Amen.
redundant. Totally redundant. We
All right,
just
turn it
read
off.
this.
Turn
No, I'm not turning it off.
Fine. I'm not going to sit here and argue in front of people.
Well,
Listen.
I'm just saying this is not right. And if you don't object to it,
I object to you. Okay? How do you turn this off?